I have a horrible, horrible confession to make. It is a confession that I am not proud to make. And it is one that I will think about for the rest of my life. I feel guilty. I feel so guilty. My conscience is not clean, and I have to come clean to the internet about this. My confession involves two stories. One of them is worse than the other. The first one that I'm going to tell has a happy ending, but the second one, the second one. The second one will always be in my mind. Till the day I get old and I have to eat my food through a straw. I guess without further ado, let me just get into it. There's no reason to drag it out. I mean, how long can you really go having so much guilt on your conscience? There has to be some kind of scientific study. I mean, if I look up scientific study about how long a human being can have guilt on their conscience. Let's see. Let us see what this means. How long can you have guilt? Okay, blah blah blah. There are no numbers being thrown around. Just describes what guilt is. Okay, whatever. I'm going to assume that the average human can hold on to guilt for about 10 to 20 years. Okay, depending on what type of guilt that it is, although it could even be longer, again, depending on what it is. Guilt is attributed to a lot of socio-psychological symptoms. I meant to say psychological, not socio-psychological, but so psychological symptoms, I don't know where the other word came from, is linked to guilt. And it can affect us in myriad ways. From physical, we start doing physical activities that show our guilt, like going out in public and wearing a shirt that says I am guilty in front of everybody. Do not do that in front of a judge or your defense attorney before you go on trial. That is never a good idea. Okay? Do you think that O.J. Simpson would go back there and he would wear a shirt that says I am guilty? No. He would put on gloves and go in front of everybody and said they don't fit. Then everyone said, okay. Did he pass away? I believe he did pass away. Anyway, what am I talking about? O.J. Simpson vote. All I want to say is, if a Johnny Cochran or other lawyer comes along and they decide to represent me in court, I would just throw in the flag and Johnny Cochran also passed away. If somebody comes along and represents me in court, I will throw in the flag and say, I give up. I'm guilty, I've done it. So what are the two confessions I would like to make? Well, the first confession I would like to make is that I almost took the life of an innocent baby bird. It was terrible. Let me explain what happened. And I say almost. I did not take the life. I say almost accidentally. I had this job mowing lawns. And as I was coming up, you know, when you mow lawns and you are very skilled, which I am not very skilled, but if you have a novice skill at mowing lawns, you probably know that you want to mow lawns in a line type zone. You want to go line down and then you want to turn around, do a 360 and then go line down. And you want to do that over and over again until the whole lawn, this was also a weird hand motion, the whole lawn looks good, looks cut. Like a barber shop. Barber cuts hair, they cut it in a certain way so that it's not all disgusting and gross. They line you up, give you a fade, they make you look great. Unless they're doing your braids. You know, in which case you don't really have to. Whole different process right there, but you can't really braid a lawn. If you could, I would love to know. But when I was cutting the lawn, as I was doing a 360 turn and then I was going up for the next line, the tall grass was concealing a hidden object that I just barely caught at the last second. As I was going past this house that I was mowing, and I was going past the window, I see in the tall grass blades that are sticking up out of the ground, I see in between there's this weird object that starts to move. And now, I do not know what to expect at this point. It is a sunny day. I'm enjoying the sun. I'm just mowing grass, minding my business. I do not know what to expect. So I see in the grass this object that starts to move, and it starts jutting up. And before long, I see a beak that opens. And then a head with eyes, and then a neck. And then I see the whole body right as I'm coming up on the object, by the way. Here is the object, here is me with the mower coming up, and I'm right here. Right here, if you can see it. I'm right here, this is the object, and then it comes up. It is a full baby bird screaming. I don't know if birds can technically scream given their biology, but you know what I mean. It is a bird that is going up with its beak open just as if it were screaming. I don't mean to horrify you all, okay? I don't mean to give you all these horrible details, except I kind of do because this is me trauma dumping. I gained trauma from this incident. That was a weird way to put it. Gain trauma, +1 trauma, like it's Final Fantasy or something, and I'm gaining stats or whatever. Yeah, but that's how I felt. I was so terrified. I jumped out of my skin. I see this bird, this baby bird that I almost just murdered. And at first, I did not know what it was. It would look like some foreign object. It looked like I couldn't even identify what it was, and it was moving. So at first, I thought it was some creature. I did not think it was some bird. That sounded rude. I did not think it was a bird. So if I could reenact this, I'm mowing, and then the bird is right there. It comes up, starts screaming, and I say, "Oh! Oh! Oh!" I start jumping around like a basketball player. I am so scared. I happened to play basketball earlier that day too. Thought of the basketball analogy, but I was so terrified. And so, okay. Let me keep my composure because this really did affect me, okay? And I want you all to pay close attention at how I handled the situation, and then you can give your 2 cents on whether I was right or wrong in what I did. I ran inside and got my brother. And then we went back outside. My brother takes a look at it, and we're both nature nerds. We both love nature. I think my brother knows a little bit more about nature than I do, but we both really love nature, right? Brother comes out, and then he says, "Oh my God." I started praying right there. Now, normally I'm not very religious. I am studying Buddhism right now, but at the time I was more ambiguous in what my religious identity was. I was still exploring stuff, but I started praying. And my brother picks up the bird and he says, "We have to get this to its home or something. It might have fallen out of a bush." The reason he said that it might have fallen out of a bush was because there were 2 bushes nearby. And so from those bushes, it was plausible that the bird fell out of one of them. And we could tell it was a baby bird because it had no feathers and it was small. This featherless, fleshy baby bird fell out of a bush. I say fleshy because it was really exposed. And I was like, whoa. That's why I was so scared at first, because it did not have feathers, so I thought it was an object. But my brother took the bird, took it back to the bush, and on a lighter note, the bird did start pecking my brother's finger. He was like, "Ow, why did it start pecking me?" And I said, "Well, maybe you were handling it inappropriately." And then he was like, "No, I was handling it perfectly fine and okay. Stop questioning me, okay?" And so luckily the bird went back into the bush. I don't know where the mother was. Because I have heard stories from people who have mowed grass and they had similar situations and they got attacked by the parental bird that was nearby in a tree or something. The bird came down and started attacking these people. That did not happen to me. The parent bird was out of the picture. Did it go get some milk? Did the parent bird go grab some worms at another lawn? Is that what happened? I'm curious. And this is actual outrage. I'm not making this up for the cameras. I'm not doing anything right now. The one camera. I'm not making this up for the one camera. I'm thinking about this. Where is the parent? I should have been attacked right now. I should have had my eyes pecked out. I should have had so many scars. From the mother bird, at least, defending its young. If the father bird wasn't in the picture, well... But But the mother bird should at least be in there somewhere, and she was gone. So my question to the mom was, where did you go? You left your baby out. Your baby could have died. At my hands. Oh, see, this is why I feel so guilty, because I almost took a baby's life on this planet. I'm not happy to admit that. A baby bird, but as somebody who's studying Buddhism, one thing that I always am paying attention to is how interconnected everything seems between humans and non-human animals. So I am kind of, I'm playing at the severity of this a little bit, but I'm also trying to make it serious and make it known that we should not harm any animals, okay? And if you are ever in a situation where you see an animal out there and it is in distress, and you may or may not do something that accidentally would have harmed that animal, just try your best to make the situation better. Even if it takes some time out of your day, just try your best. Okay, just try your best. I have a second situation that I feel very guilty about. And now this one has a more sad ending, but it was another accident. But I just have to get this off my chest so that the internet can judge me with all of its free will and all of its glory. Okay, you all in the comments and on X and on your Instas and your TikToks or your TikToks or whatever, your Tumblrs, you can all talk about how this guy at JTTA official, I think that's my YouTube username for this channel, you could talk about how I am a horrible person and am terrible and should not be alive anymore. So what I'm trying to say though, for this next story, I was driving down this road at night. It was very dark. I had my lights on, my bright lights on. Oh, the light just went off. Speaking of lights, please, come on. Okay, that was scary. That was terrifying. I thought a ghost came in there, but okay. Let me get the story in because I only have so much runtime here. Try to keep these episodes to a standard runtime. So, nighttime, brights are on. I'm driving down the road. This raccoon jumps out onto the road. I think it was a raccoon. It looked like a raccoon. It had like a raccoon body. I know it wasn't a skunk because skunks are very hairy, and I feel like I could tell at night. Even it's black and white. A raccoon usually is like dark gray or grayish or sometimes even brownish. I don't know, but this raccoon ran onto the road right as I was driving by, and I hit it accidentally. I did not mean to, but it came right into my lane. And then I ran over it. And I hit it. I bumped over it with a loud thunk. So as it turns out, I had a passenger with me in the car. And I said, I have to stop and pray. That is what I said. Again, I'm not super hyper religious, but I am just enough to where I will pray depending on the situation. That is just what I was surrounded by. So it is just how I sometimes respond, even though for some odd reason it kind of is a weird juxtaposition to me not being super religious in a lot of ways. But yeah, I just was praying in that situation, and as I was driving, probably not a good idea. I did not have my eyes closed, but I was praying as I was driving. Just said a silent prayer to myself. And my passenger in the car with me at the time said, "Why you no need to pray? It was just a raccoon. It was just a small animal from the forest. You had no control over that." And I said, "Shut up!" I said, "Shut up! I'm praying over here, okay? I just ran over an innocent creature. You want me to stay calm? You want me to not wish good tidings and blessings on that poor animal that I just took the life of accidentally, but still?" And my God, the bird situation would have been way worse, because there would have been so much gore and so much blood and so much horrible stuff that I don't think I would even be able to talk about. I may not even be telling you that story if it ended the way that it could have. And that is again why the PSA behind this whole video that you are watching right now: do not put yourself in a situation where you could accidentally kill an animal. Okay, fine. I know that probably happens a lot in your life. Maybe you like to go out in public and just do stuff that is bad for the environment. Look, we're humans, okay? We're humans. We do that all the time. But what I'm trying to say is just be as nice to animals as you can, because you never know when you are mowing lawns and you accidentally run over a baby bird. Then again, the mom should be in the picture. But hey, it's not her fault, it's not your fault, it's not the bird's fault. Well, it will be your fault. I don't know, I'm not trying to put guilt or blame on anybody. I'm just saying, just be careful. Just be careful. That is all. It is 12:30 p.m. I am going to break into this top secret facility and steal their files on the monsters that are lurking in this planet. I cannot even speak. English is some really hard language next to Mandarin. Okay, top secret organization. What is going on? This is an awkward angle. Okay, the wheelie chair is going crazy. Top secret organization, I am here to steal your secret files. You think you can leave? Oh, I just set off the alarm. Oh no! What will I do? Gymnastics. I broke my leg. Oh, I broke my leg. Oh, how did I even do that? Oh, I tripped over a baby bird. There was an innocent baby bird and I just tripped over it. No! Oh. Take me away, officers.